Yep, so we are recording, it's official now. So I'm gonna minimize OBS here and I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, man, I was watching last night Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on Netflix. What an amazing piece of work, man, that you guys did. Have you seen that film, guys?
Yeah, great movie.
Oh man, you can stop any frame and you stop it and it's beautiful just to look at, you know? It's just so much detail, so much stuff.
It's rich, yeah,
Yeah, it's
indeed.
exactly, it's so rich. You're like, oh my god, any frame you pick is beautiful. So
Uh,
yeah.
you
Did
know,
you? Hmm?
oh, Ryan, go on.
No, I was just going to say that there's a part of the film where they get away from Doc Octopus. At one point, the older Peter Spider-Man is moving on 2 frames per second, but the younger and inexperienced Spider-Man moves at 1 frame per second. So if you
Yeah.
look, he's more jittery. It's really cool. They did some really cool stuff on it.
Yeah, and they all did make it look with this stop motion look as well. And this stop motion look is just like it's pretty much what we did last week, but you just what you do is you take the whole animation, you sample every 2 frames, and then you make those frames stepped, and then it will give you that sort of jittery look, you know. And it's yeah, it's a beautiful piece of work, that one. Yeah, I think they won that one won the Oscar, didn't it?
I think so,
I,
yeah.
I
And
think it
Great
was.
animation. Yeah.
Best feature film animation, I think he won. Yeah, definitely won because that was. I mean, Pixar movies make amazing, but when that came out, it's like, nah, man, this is too good. To just give it to Pixar. Sorry, Pixar, but this is not gonna be your year. So, and the guy is like, yeah, it's an amazing piece of work. Right. Okay. So now we spoke about that. So let's go and do a little bit of work now. Okay. So let me double check that I'm recording everything, so I don't want to have to do and record this again. So everything is being recorded. So that's it. Okay. So we done the idle, okay. So we exported it we exported that to Unreal. We did the the Unreal project thing. So I told you the guys, I didn't do the opening of the Unreal project. It just choose a third-person template. That's all we had to do. Third-person template, high quality, all the default setting. If you want the starter content, it's up to you. If not, that's fine. You don't need that. It's just gonna be just a character running around. So so far what we done the character as in the idol, and just we imported one animation, the idol animation, and we imported the actual rig. So you remember it's two-step thing. I believe in Unity it's different. I did a job for a client some about 3-4 years ago for an app, and that was done in Unity, and I did all my animations in like Maya, and what you do is you just in Unity is different. In Unity you just export the FBX with everything in it, with everything, and then you just tell the client, hey, from this frame to this frame you have the idle. From this frame to this frame you will have the walk cycle. From this frame to this frame you have the run cycle, whatever. And then they will slice it and they will trigger inside the software. But I don't know how to do that because I've never done it in Unity. But in Unity you actually import FBX and the FBX stays there as it is. And I think in Unreal, like I told you, they do get converted as a proprietary sort of file format, which is the U asset. So everything is turned into U asset. You can re-export the stuff from there by exporting the asset itself. Anything you import, it's just that it's triangulated and all that, but you can export everything out again as an FBX. Anyway, that's not really something that we're going to be doing, but we just wanted to let you know. So, okay, so I'm going to start another animation, okay? And we know that, just to recap here, let me open this so we know at the moment we did the idle and all that stuff, and we know that this dude here is the one that if you open this dude is the one that has the final rig, okay, and this is the rig that we're going to be using for exporting. Just remember, this file here is the one that you're going to select this and you're going to select this, and I think what I did was I selected this, and then that's the one you export as your rig, and then whatever animation you export later on, you just select this and you export the actual animation. So this is the final rig. Look, step 9, final rig. That's why it's quite important that you rename things so you know which is which, okay. So when I do that, then I have the ability to then do my animations, okay, individually. And for that, I need to reference this rig. Remember that when we did this with the skeleton file plugin, it broke down here. It broke that connection with the reference. So it's now a single file that you're going to reference from here. You need to do the step, guys, or you're going to have a reference, which is the original rig, that is referencing the original model, and then this one is referencing the actual rig. So you will have a double nested reference, and that will really clog your system. So make sure that you publish it. By publishing, you know what you have to do: take the formation system out of this group, which I believe is normally in here. You take it out, then you publish, and then once you export this. You do it only once, and then whatever you come after that is just the animation. So I'm going to create a fresh scene, and that scene, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference this file that we just opened, which is the final rig. So I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to reference that file, which I believe is somewhere here. Okay. By referencing that, what I do is I just create a reference to that file, okay, that I just opened, which is the rig, the one that is already published. You can see here, look, with the little diamonds there. Those blue diamonds mean that that is a reference. So here, what we have to do is we have to just start animating. Now, for the walk cycle, things are pretty much similar to what we did in last week, but this time we're gonna have to have actually a little bit more keyframes now. So I'm gonna open here the file. I'm gonna show you something here quickly. Let me open file, character animation. I think I have these files. I will be able to upload them to you. I think I got them from last year. I think I already did that. But anyway, so I think here, yeah, this is the walk cycle. This is the one that if you want, I can put this up in the canvas so you can have a look. But if we analyze this, it's pretty much just 5 frames. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, which are 2 contacts and 1 passing point. And what we had to do this twice, because this is 1 step, and then we need another step to repeat the loop, which means that this frame is going to be the same as the last one here. That will be 10 frames in total. Okay, and then these are just the things you had to look. It's very simple. You see the head go down here, it goes up, and then down. And then you got this, you got this, you got all this stuff here. All you have to do is just post it as it is. So the key thing to taking here is that when you do this frame and the last frame, that will be, you just have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 frames. That will be frame 1, frame 10. Well, like I said, I started in frame 100, but that's just me. Then the frame in the middle, which is the opposite here, you can see this is exactly the same as this, but the opposite. It will be here. That will be frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now frame 6 will be the same as this, but the opposite. Frame 7 will be the same as this, but the opposite. With the leg, this time this leg, which is the darker bit, which means it's at the further on the further along, further away from the camera, then it will be opposite. This one will be bent, and the other one behind will be straight. And then you just do the opposite, okay? And then you will get a whole step. So I'm going to show you here what you can do to improve this. So I have this in my source images, that image that I just showed you. What you can do is you can just, I'm going to right click on that image, and then I'm going to show the properties. And that image is in, if we have a look here, detail, you can see this is the actual dimension. So if you divide this by this, it will give you a multiplier. Okay, now multiplier is the one that you can use to make a piece of geometry here that is sort of match the same sort of dimension, if you want to do it perfectly. If not, we're just going to scale it with the UVs. And what I want to do is, instead of just going to view, image plane, import image, which is annoying, I just create a plane. So I go here into polyframe, I just create a plane here, scale it up, okay, just move it to the side here. I'm going to rotate it here in 90 degrees. This is one way of working, guys. It's up to you how you're going to do it. So I'm going to do this, okay, and then here I'm going to do it, right click on this, I'm going to create, assign a new material. I'm going to go into Maya, I'm going to create just Lambert, or I'm just going to go here, assign new material, and then create a Maya, just create a surface shader, which is just color with no shading information. And then once you have that, then you click on the out color here. It's the same like a Lambert, but and then you just find a file, and then I'm just gonna point to that file, which is, I believe it's not that one, but that one. I say open, and I hit. I think that's fine. Did I do it correctly? Yeah, that's fine. And I press 6, and then I can see this. This is upside down, and I'm going to just rotate it like that. Another minus 90 degrees. And then if I wanna, like I say, if you just, this is just for reference, doesn't make any difference. So you're gonna do, you can do that, and then just eyeball it, and you're like, okay, that's pretty much what you need. And then you have here roughly the steps that you need, you know. So you will start here, the same procedure. You will go here. I'm working 100, so I will see 100 frames, and I know I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 frames. So I put here from 110 to 100 to 110. Okay, so I had the 10 frames that I had to create. And I started the process again. You have to be, guys, it's very important that you get familiarized with the rig. You know which is the one that you need to move, what stuff, what it does. So this one here, what it does, it just moves the whole thing up and down. This one here, you see, it does something completely, well, it's roughly the same, but I think this one has the, what's interesting, this one does the, okay, this one does this, and this one, oops. Stuff it's pretty much the same, but I think this one, yeah, this one bring the whole thing down. Ah, this is like an offset, and then this one you can another offset there. That's just one, just to create one local and one global space, I guess, but it's just irrelevant. Anyway, that example maybe didn't work. So again, so we can have a look at the keyframes or the key area. So the head, you see the head goes down and up and down. It is the same with the hip. Go up and down, and the legs has its own position. So if you go on frame 1, okay, so we can just do is take the main control here, then bring it down a little bit, take this guy down forward like this. Okay, you can round out this number if you want. You can say, I don't know, 45. So it's easier for you to remember. Now this guy is pretty much the opposite. We take this one. We say minus 45, and then obviously the moment they are too far away, but when you take this, you knock it down, then you can see that roughly you can start getting what you want. Okay, so I think this one here a little bit too far, not too stretch, but like that, I guess. Okay, now the arms, this arms goes down. So I know that if I work on this, that will be FK is too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to IK, all of them. So they have a single control. Okay, and I just can move this guy down. Why this guy is not? That's interesting, it's not hiding. Oh, because it's not 100%. You have to be 10. Some reason if you don't take it to 10 it doesn't disappear, these ones. For some reason my mouse doesn't let me go further than, let's have a look. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so we got this, we got that, and then you put the arm roughly where you think it's gonna go. In this case it's gonna go a little bit back. Okay, I'm just gonna go here, and I'm just gonna twist this guy around. I know that the hand sort of goes back a little bit. So you can probably try to recreate that by just doing something like this. Okay, and we got that. Now you can select these controls and then curl all the fingers. Okay, maybe the thumb not too much. Okay, like that. Maybe moving this guy here. I will do a little bit, and then I will go through the keys as I haven't ready in the other animation, because this, as you can see, takes a long time. So you got that. Maybe the clavicle needs a little bit more relaxed, perhaps knock it down a little bit like that. Okay. we got this. Then we can do is we can take this control, shift select all these controls, clavicle all this. Then just to help us out, we can go into advanced skeleton 5, go into the UI here, and then tell them that whatever control we have selected, we're going to have to mirror, so it's easier for us to reposition. So we got this, and then we say pose mirror. We go into the option, we say whatever is selected, we mirror in the x-axis, and we that will be right to left, and then we hit mirror. And so then you have to click it twice and it works. But anyway, so you see it's mirror, but we don't want that 100% because it's roughly the same but with a little bit forward. So we just, it's easier in this position just to after we've done that, just to move it like that, you see. And we have to go and just reset this a little bit like that. And then we will have the first pose, okay, roughly. Obviously it needs more time and checking and making sure that everything is in the right place, okay. So at the moment it looks like he's not actually tapping because at the moment this thing is just doing this. So we can just take this control, not this one, but this one. Again, I know that this is the control that I'm using because I've been familiarized with this rig. And then I think doing that bends the knee too much, and you can see here that the knee is quite straight. So you can probably move a little bit that arm, okay. Then I'm gonna take this because the front just to give me the tip, and then I can get this, and then I know that this guy moved it. I put it to that's 45, and then this guy is 45. We can probably move it down like this a little bit like that. Well, I think it's okay in 45 actually. So we got 45, 45. Okay, that's the pose we want. We can do is I don't know, maybe it depends on the head, if you want the head to be like that or you just want the head to be a little bit lower, it's up to you. Let's keep the head a little bit lower like that. Okay, so you have a little bit more like that. And this is just a pose from the side, but from the front you need to think about as well when you're walking, how you shift away from one side to another as well. So at the moment we're not gonna worry about that because you see if you do this, you will fall. Look at you, just walk yourself, get up your desk and then walk, and you will see how you put, once you do one step, you put the weight to one side, and then when you do the other step, you put the weight to the other side. Okay, but for now we're just gonna keep it like that. Okay, so I'm going to close this and I'm going to say, okay, this is gonna be my first keyframe. Okay, now so that will be my first keyframe. I'm gonna select all, and I'm just gonna go into the first frame and I'm gonna press S. And that gave me a keyframe right there. You can see here the keyframes, you can see here there. Okay, now if I wanna move to the last frame, because I got no more frames, that's not gonna make any difference. But if you have more frames in between here, and if you do that, like this, dragging, when I move to the last one, it will take whatever value was in the last keyframe. If you wanna bypass the cooking, that's where the cooking on the timeline, you press middle click and drag, and then you keyframe, okay? And then for example, I can give you an example quickly here. For example, if I do this to number 6, right? And let's say that I do this, like that, I press S just to play around. So when I go into the first frame and I do this, look, it goes there. So I would adding, let's say that I wanna copy all this frame from here to here. But if I click, left click and drag like this, then it's analyzing the timeline. It's cooking it. It's happening, hey, this is the interpolation that will be at this stage. And then I will go here and keyframe. If you want to bypass this keyframe, it means not to get the information from this frame as you pass along. You just go to the first frame you want, you middle click and drag. You see when I middle click and drag, it's not cooking the actual timeline. And then with that one selected at the end, okay, then you press S and you keyframe. And now obviously because we have a frame in the middle, it will go up and down, but we're gonna ignore this frame. We're gonna come here and we're just gonna delete it because we're just testing things. You can see that is exactly the same frame, okay? I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that would be an extra frame in there. I think we're gonna have to shift the frames already, so that's fine. We work it out in a minute. So we go here to frame 10, here, frame 101, 102, 103, 104, and then I think we're gonna have to move this one to 108. Again, look, if I go here, 108, I can then, another way to move the key will be selecting all this and then typing here 108, and then they all move to 108. Let's keep it to 108 because that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 110. What me with my math today, man? 109. Okay. Okay, let's keep it to 109 for now. I'm gonna put it here. And if not, we can just shift it later on. Anyway, so this frame here is exactly the same as this frame. So we know that on frame 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this will be the opposite. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It will be the opposite of this. Okay, so what you do is you see this frame is the opposite of this, and this frame is exactly as the one you will have the other frame all the way to here, like this. That's what the first frame needs to match the last frame. So again, frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then here we have exactly the same as this frame here, but the opposite. You can see now the backs, the dark bits are the one that are in the front, and vice versa. So what you do is you select all this, go into pose, go into mirror, you say all of them. I'm going to mirror everything, and I'm gonna swap right to left. I think, yeah, it's the opposite. Yeah, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. When it doesn't want to work, oops, 1 second. I'm just doing mirror, Matt Damon. So what we had to do is we had to actually swap them. So when you do that, all the ones, did you do it? No. Oh, there you go. Now it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, so you got it now. You see that's, am I doing it? No, I think I did it twice. Let me undo that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to the first frame. So by going to that frame, you see automatically whatever change you did, you go to the actual keyframe. Let's do it again. 1, 2. That will be frame 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I know that this frame is the one that we have there. What we have to do is swap this in order to keyframe this right in the middle, which will be one step. Because we're doing 2 steps at a time. Okay, or so make it a loop. So, axis, we swap it, we say all, or selected, I think, because we have all selected, and then we click mirror. And we should swap it. There you go, so that it works. See, now it's exactly the same, but it's being swapped. Now this is the one that is on the other side, and this one is on the front side. That would save you a ton of work, because you have to do that by hand before. So now we press S, and now you see that we have the transition, and now we have this. A pretty bad animation. Okay, and again, this is oops. Oh, there you go. That's a very good example. I completely forgot to transfer this to 30 frames per second. You see how this could potentially give you trouble. So we're gonna do this. We play this. And then let's analyze. So you see now the frames are completely out of whack. For some reason it messed everything up. I wanted to start out frame 100. Man, this is messed everything up. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have here frame 100. Let's do that again. 100. And we have now 100 and I think we say 109. I think it's there. I'm gonna select everything, middle click and drag. Oops, undo that. You're gonna press shift, middle click and drag so it doesn't go up and down. It only goes in one axis. And then we are back to where we wanted. I think now we know that this is being shifted. We put these dudes in 104. Okay, and then we put, that will be 105, 6, 7, 8. 108, if my math doesn't kill me today. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll be the next 4 frames. Let's keep it like that. If my math is incorrect, I will fix it very easily. Okay, so now we have this, and now we have the right keyframe. So now this is now playing at 30 frames per second, but you can see this is really fast, and that's because we haven't done any timing. Now, the next thing you do is obviously the passing point. That will be halfway. That will be 1, 2 frames. That will be here, here. You can see that the key, this is sort of done already, the interpolation a little bit like that. Look, go there, but not 100%. So here, we know that these dudes should be pretty much no rotation or translation in these ones. Like that. And this one should be nothing in them as well in these ones, so you can get the feed like that, I guess. Let me see what I've done wrong about this, about that. This should be there. It should be this. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't want to do 100%. See, this should be pretty much like that. I don't know why it doesn't want to do it. Anyway, we'll fix that in a minute. But anyway, that will be reset. This should be the leg, you can see here, should be opposite. Should be a little bit like going like that, and like this, like that. See, the arms are going to leave it like that for now. We can relax them later. But the important point is this, is the hip. Look at the hip. It goes down and then up. This is the passing point. We're doing the frame 1, 2. The frame 1, 2. That's 102. So we take now the hip and we move it up. Okay. Now it looks a little bit more natural. Not too much, because otherwise do something like this. Okay. And again, we select all. I'm going to do it roughly and then we polish it later on. And then we press S, we keyframe. So now we have that second frame. Look, so it does this, boom, boom, and then boom, down. There you go. But now we know that this guy has to be done 2 frames after this guy on the opposite side, correct? So we have 1, 2. So pretty much we're going to copy this frame into frame 06, but the opposite. So we go here, we select all, go into animation or pose, we go into mirror, we say select it, we swap them. Okay? Come on, work. There you go. So it worked. You see, it swapped them. But this is key, guys. If I click and drag, look what happened. The same issue before. Look. You see, it resets because it's gonna cook this frame now. So you have to middle click and drag to number 6 and then key it. Again, let's do that. Click here. And I'm going to swap them. The one that I selected. Click there. And this leg should swap. There you go. Now you middle click and drag and you see how it doesn't cook. This is like temporarily disabling the cooking of the time frame. You go there and then you press S. And undoing is the opposite of what this guy will be doing, which is going with the leg and then up. Now look, we're going down, down, and then up, and then down. You can see very quickly we can create this. Now it's going really fast. Okay. So again, we're going now to this frame, which is this dude. Now this dude goes really low now. You can see that goes up and then down, but it has to go from up, it's coming, it has to go down and then up. So here, this guy needs to go even lower, like this. We go there, and then we just move it, not too much, Louis, something like that. And then probably the legs a little bit back more. Sorry, the legs, not the arms. So like that. And then a little bit more relaxed, like this. Then the same with the hands here. This hand. Not too stretched because it doesn't look like it's marching or something like that. So then we just do this. Okay, we got that. Now this seems to be a little bit further down, so we can click there, like that. We could just go this and then just, you know, we polish that later on. We're just gonna do this and then rotate him and then move the elbow up and down and then just do that. But we don't want to do that for now. I'm gonna show you the frames without now polished there. So you got that. We're doing this guy, which is after the first frame, after the initial frame, the next one, which is that one. We're on the right frame. So we have that. We select all of them, and we keyframe. We press S. Now it's a keyframe. Now we know that this is the same that's going to happen in the frame after this, but on the opposite side. Again, on that frame selected, with all these guys selected, what we're going to do is we're going to swap it. And then we swap. Now that should be the same, but the opposite. There you go. And now when we have that, then we middle click and drag. Very important, middle click and drag. And we know that this guy is frame 4. And we need a frame after, which is this one, but on the opposite side, that will be frame 105. Middle click and drag. We press S. Now when we're there, you see it doesn't happen, didn't change, because we middle click and drag. We press S, and now we will have the down. I think this one, actually I did a mistake. I suppose this should be, that was going there, and then down, and then down. So you have to go down here, I think. So my bad. I think this should be even going lower like this. Something like that. I'm gonna press S, and then because it's not gonna be swap, I can, with this one selected, I can middle click and drag to numbers 5, and then press S again. You see, it will copy it because I don't need to swap it because it's right in the middle. So again, we go down, up, down, up, down, and then we got a cycle there. Look. Okay, so we go down, down, down. Okay, so now we know that we're missing this frame, which is the up, and that will be, and this one will be the frame, the first, second, third frame after the beginning. First, second, third frame. So now this guy will be a little bit higher, like going up like this. I think perhaps a little bit tilted towards the front, I think, like that. With the arm, the hands going forward like this, not like that. You see, you cannot select the joints. If you want, you can just hide the joints here, and then you just do this. This one, this looks like it's just having a tantrum. Then do that. Something like that. Bit back perhaps. Up. And then this leg should be a little bit higher. Like this. And then I think even this guy could be a little bit higher than that. Because the leg's quite stretched here, you see. So, okay, so we select all of them. And we keyframe it, press S. See, that's the last keyframe. Now we know that this is the last frame before this frame, which is 104. That means that in 107 that is missing is the same as this, but on the opposite side, because that's the second step. Again, with all these selected, we just swap them. There you go. And now we middle click and drag to number 7. And then we press S. And now we have the cycle done. Look. And at the moment, it's very fast because it's only happening one frame at a time. This is not timing, this is just poses, contact points up and down, so you get the keyframe. Then you're gonna spread them. Okay? So that is gonna be the next step, which is spreading these keyframes. Okay? And that's something you need to start thinking, okay, I'm gonna increase this. Okay, and then again I'm gonna go here, shift middle click and drag, and then I'm gonna take these guys all the way till here, and then I can start thinking if that works at this distance. Okay, so at the moment the last frame is frame 100, and at the moment they're not snapping. You see, they are not snapping. So what you can do is you can take this, go into keys, I think it is, or curves, or somewhere else. I can't remember what it was. Edit, yeah, snap. And I think you see they snap to the counterpart. But now they snapped in a funny way because some of them are longer than another. So if you want to play safe, you can then just snap into. I think there's a way when you scale them to snap. 1 second. Okay, let me undo that. Okay, let me see if I can. Yeah, let's go back to square one. Okay, so we got. Let me do that again if I can replicate this. So I'm gonna give you a little bit more frames here. So if you click in here, you can just scale them all the way when you know that it's sort of snapped to a certain point. You can see that, I don't know if you press shift, it will snap. No, no, it doesn't snap. Let me do that again. You click in there, and then you can just scale them to about 125 or something, and then you can just check in these ones, and then you just round them if you want. You can just select all of them like that, and then just hit snap. Oops, what did I do? No, I didn't do anything funny there. Okay, I didn't do. Okay, yeah, edit. You see the options, all start and times slider times values. Times, okay, apply. And then this one are quite even now, so you know that these ones are 100, 103, 106, so multiple of 3, 109, 112. This one went a little bit too far. That would be this should be 114 here. So you do click and drag, and you can drag it. So now it's 112. Yeah. 3 frames more 15, 3 frames more 18, 3 frames more 21, 3 frames more 24. Let's see what it looks like at 124. And then let's see how much. Look, you see now it looks like it's walking a little bit too fast. So we probably need to rescale them and then keep going until we have a time. At the moment they look really bad because we are just not polishing stuff properly, okay? But once you get this stuff like this in place, you will be able to get cleaner geometry, clear animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this because this is just for you to know how to clean and all that, how to key the stuff. I'm going to open a file that I have with the keys already in place because I cannot animate on time here, otherwise it takes forever and you will fall asleep. So the walk cycle we put 0. I'm not going to save this. And the walk cycle I have already the keys done, I think, on this one. Yeah, I already got the keys and I already have reset them and retimed them, and I found out with 133 it works. So let me see if we're on 30 frames. Yeah, that's fine. So when you play this, look, that looks more like, okay? I haven't done the fingers are too straight. You could just do with a closed hand. But you can see here now that we have this stuff pretty sort of clean, in a way that you have 133 will be like, okay, I know that 33 frames were like a treat for me. This character with the size, the way it's represented, the way it's going to behave, I know that 33 frames will be one look. So I know, and I make a note in a piece of paper, I know that whenever I do my stuff that I'm about to do, I know that I will have to export 33 frames minus 1. 32 frames, okay? Now, one of the things that you need to keep an eye on this, and you can see now the character looks okay-ish, but it's a little bit of jittery, okay? Okay, so this is where the part that you're gonna start polishing. You need to polish this keyframes to make it look quite smooth before you can actually start making the copies that we did last week, okay? And there are many ways to do that. And I think one of the issues that we have at the moment is that the arms, they look a little bit too jittery. Okay, you can see that the arm, for example, if I look at this arm here, it doesn't look smooth. Okay, look at that. Up and then goes down and then up. Think about it. If you were walking like that, I would be like, are you, well, it just, there's something wrong with you. You don't walk like that. Okay, so there's something going on that you shouldn't be that way. So, and then this is something that then you need to look at when you go into doing animation, especially the runs and the walk cycle. It's something called the arcs, clean arcs. And this is one of the principles of 12 principle animations that everybody talks about. So you can go online, check out the 12 principle animations, and then you're gonna get like an idea what I'm roughly what I'm talking about. I can put a link if you want, but I'm pretty sure you can just go and type 12 principles of animation in YouTube, and you will get a very good entry there that you can have probably thousands of indices there in the actual YouTube. So how do we clean this thing? So what I mean by arc, I mean this. Look at this control. Okay, if I do this, look how it moves. It goes, okay, it stays there. This is not right. Nobody walks and then keep the arm in that place. Like, that is wrong. So that needs to be sort of shifted. Okay, at the moment this guy's there and then it stays there and then keep going. So you probably can think that perhaps around this section we had to have put an extra bit of a keyframe that sort of allows me to sort of go and twist this arm down like this, going down. So you can have to fix that. For example, here on frame 1, so on this frame it moved from here to here. So it means that this frame is not moving much. So we can probably fix that by just taking this and then put it there and then press S, and now you can see now this guy, that move, you see, it looks a bit more organic. The same with this. Let's have a look at this. Goes down. You see it stays there too much, but this is different because this is going back, and then the same happens in here. You see the arm stay behind. So we can just do this and then just move it down a little bit and press S. And then you can see now the arm, when they go back, you see it's more natural. You see, you need to start cleaning up the animation and see what is going wrong with the animation. Okay, one of the things that will happen here is the arcs. And the arcs means that if you think, you imagine that this plot a line that goes up and down like this, right? Like in a pendulum here. So how smooth the line is will tell you how smooth the animation will look. So at the moment you can see that it goes down and then it stays in that line and then goes up. For some reason it goes up like this in a straight line, and then goes out like this, which is wrong, and then goes down. So that needs to be fixed. Now it's very difficult to see those arcs or imagine those arcs happening from back and forward. So luckily there is a nice tool inside Maya that can help you with this, and it's called the motion trails. And what it does is you select any control and you hit the button motion trail, and it will create an imaginary line, and you can start seeing an imaginary line with those keyframes where they happen, and then you will be able to actually clean them and start fixing them. Okay, so how do you do that? You go, make sure you're in the animation module here, and then you go into visualize and you click this button somewhere here that says create editable motion trail. You click that and it creates this guy for you, this handle. You can delete that later on when you finish. And this is the, look, this is the actual arc that I told you. Look at this arc. The arc, this is just plotted the line that tells you where this control that we plotted this line, look how it's behaving. At the moment you can see that this line is going, you can see it's going down and then going up and then going down like that. That's not really quite smooth, and especially here in this section. So you could go through here and you can see that, look at the line how it starts getting red as the control passes on that keyframe specifically. Okay, and you can see that it goes in, and you will say, well, but that's not natural. Then you can actually select the character, or select the control, I'm sorry, in this case. And if you move the control out like this and you click, press S, you can see that now that line is being replotted in that direction. And you can as well, if you want, you can select the actual keys by selecting the key like this. You see, you can select the key and you can actually move it, and then you visually can sort of plot the line to make it nice and smooth. Okay, so now it's a little bit heavy sometimes, the system. My computer sort of is not very smooth. So you can select the actual control, the actual keyframe, and then sort of move it out a little bit, so you can probably create something that looks a little bit. The point is to create those arcs that are quite nice and clean. Okay, at the moment this one I don't like this, it's going not too much, maybe around there. Okay, maybe this one here as well, going too harsh, going from in and out. So, oops, not like that. So I had to click on this and then move it out. I advise you guys to hide the joints in here, hide them or something, or just hide them in show, hide the joints, because sometimes if you select the joint, you keyframe, and you're gonna be in big trouble later on trying to fix that. So again, I'm gonna take the actual frame. You can see that the actual handle, it will show which is that frame and which number it is, and this is in the frame 129. You can see that when I move this, 129 here is going to move. Check it out, this. So you move that there, you can see how it moved here lightly. And then we're gonna fix this issue as well that we have here, so we can play the animation. You can do this, that's nice. It stays a little bit too much behind here, you can see there. Maybe we can just move it up like this. No, not like that. I'm gonna hide the, yeah, and I'm just gonna move this guy like this. Okay, press S. Then when you move, when you move the controls like the numbers, you don't have to keyframe, because you're actually manipulating the keyframe. So you got that, and then it goes like, okay, that's nice and smooth, but then it goes in too much like that. So maybe this guy needs to be a little bit forward. Oops, I'm still selecting the control for some reason, so I think this should be like here, like that. When you keyframe, look at this line, because we're in 17. And this is the keyframe for this, and that motion trolley for this control. When I press S, you see how everything adjusts back in there. And now we will have something that is a little bit smoother. So let's see. So we go this, down, up, and down. So now once you finish that, you select the motion trail and you just delete it. This is only a temporary thing. So now look at this, how this move. Now check it out. You see how smooth it is? Now compare this arm with this arm. Look at this. This looks like it's jiggery and stuff, and this one is way more smooth. Even though it still needs work, you need to polish things. You need to actually put the thing to hold the frame a little bit, to make it a little bit slower. Like for example, when you go here, for example, you can just take this and then go all the way up, and then when you go into that position, don't go down straight away. You can just hold the arm there for a bit, so you can then go here. Okay, I'm going up there, but then automatically goes down. So I can probably say no, actually when I'm here, I'm gonna go a couple of frames more, and I'm just gonna go back a little bit further where I was, like this, and then I'm gonna rotate it like that. Whoa, I think there's something funny happening here. Let me have a look at the rotation. Rotation, oh, it's not even, rotation is in gimbal. How the hell did I put that in gimbal? Okay, so like that, okay. And then there, I'm gonna press S. You can see holding there, so you can see, I can see that it goes up, stays there for a little bit, maybe too much, I did it too much, but then it goes there, and it goes down, so you can see, let's have a look, up, down. You can probably make it hold a little bit longer. You can there, and then maybe hold it more in the same original position. So there, stay there for a bit, and then down. Let's have a look at that. It's fine, yeah. So only go a few frames anyway, so it's not gonna be, it's holding just for a few frames. If you see it stays there, so it goes up, and then stay there a little bit there, a couple of frames, and then goes down. But I think this frame is too harsh. It's this one here, so we can probably delete it. So it goes a little bit smoother. So it goes up, down. You see now it's smoother. You see, and it got that little nice flap in the hand. Look, goes up, and then the hand, whoa, and then stay behind and go back. Look at the hands, how it sort of look. It looks a little bit smoother there. Look at the wrist. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. And then you have to do the same with this. You have to go and take this guy, and then go into keyframe, sorry, into visualize, create editable keyframe, and then start doing the same thing. What I advise you to do is keep the other one on and try to match it the best you can, and then delete both at the end. and then you will get that nice clean. The same you have to do it for this, for the arcs of the legs. Let's have a look at the arcs of the legs. You can have more than one, guys. So great, guys. Look at this. So now this guy goes. Look at that. The leg goes down. Look at that, how it gets red as it passes there, and then it goes in a straight line and then down. So I think here on frame 108 it should be going up like this, and then perhaps a little bit like that, and then press S. Now you can see that now this is way smoother. So now when it walks, it goes a little bit more, you know, like natural, the way you would walk. I think it's obviously this is a cartoony thing, so it's a bit extreme. You can see now that the arc tells you that, you know, when the leg is on the air like that, you will go this, and then we'll go down, and then in a straight line because it will be in the floor, and that's it. Okay, and then you can probably do the same with this. Select this one, editable motion trail, and again it suffers from the same issue. Instead of keyframing, you can just tell them, hey, I'm gonna make this guy sort of match this guy a little bit, so I'm just gonna go and move it up like this, and perhaps move it out like that. Just eyeball it, and now these two should have smoother. See, nice and smooth. Big difference it makes. The moment this goes up and down, so this one goes up, down, and then I think up, down. I think the down here is missing. I think it's down, or I think I probably keyframe this. Yeah, that's the one that keyframes. So you go down and up. So that should go a little bit higher here, and then I think there is a mistake here. I think going down. That will be translating Y. No, translating Z. Yeah, translating, not translating Z. Yeah, so we go. It goes down, up. I think it dies here. So we probably can do it. We can take these few keyframes and then move them up like this, so it keep going up. So let's see what happens. So it goes down, up, and then down, up, and then down. You see? That's way better. Look, smoother now. And as well, we're having the same issue that everything happens at the same time, and that's what we talked about last week. So now we know that we need 33 frames. Let me open the second one. This is number 1. I'm gonna show you here number 1. I'm gonna go and open number 2. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. I think number 2 here has, I think, pretty much all the cleanup that we did just now. I think I did fix the fingers and stuff. Look. Now this one is way smoother. Look. And it's shifting the way that we talked about from left to right, left to right. Yeah, so I think this is it. I think I will give you this file. I think I didn't already having uploading on Canvas, and I will make it public for you guys. So you can see this one is a bit way more polished. You see more work, especially look at the head, how it overlaps. Let's have a look at the arcs. If I clean the arcs, I'm gonna select one randomly and then do that, visualize. This one, you see that nice and clean. They suffer, they don't have that weight that we talked about. You see that it's going down straight away. It should be like a little bit, okay, I'm going up and then stay a little bit longer and then down. So probably I need to have an extra keyframe that goes one frame a little bit up and then hold it. Because I think if you for example go here and you middle click and drag and then you press S, you see it holds that frame. So now you're gonna be there holding that frame from 1, but it's holding it too perfect, so it's not gonna work. So we can do is we can move it down a little bit like this and then keyframe it. So you have a little bit of a movement there. Then there you go. You can see. Now look at the arm how it goes to the front, and that extra frames there is a little bit. It's one extra frame, but it sort of gives you a little bit of an extra hole in there, just to hold for one frame. It's gonna delete that frame so it doesn't mess this up. But again, we got that. At the moment we're still working. Once you've polished all that, then you do what we did before, which was taking all the information and then making 3 copies. Okay, and I think I'm gonna open that, and then we're gonna come back to this one. I'm gonna do it again so you can see what I done. So I'm gonna go and open the final so you can see the final here. Well, actually, let's do that here now, and then we can do the select all, and then I'm gonna make 3 copies of this. So that's the next step, making 3 copies of this. So I'm gonna go and take this all the way to 200 something, and again I'm gonna take all this. I'm gonna select all of them, and I'm gonna go into copy. I'm gonna move to the last frame, and then I'm gonna select those frames, because if you do it here you have to select them, and then you press paste, and it makes a copy, and then you go to that frame and you paste them again. You paste them. So now the last frame here will be 199. So if I move there, 199, frame 100 and frame 199 should be exactly the same. So now this is just the same loop, but it's being played 3 times. Okay, and this is when it comes the part that sells the shot, sells the thing. So you take 1 control at a time, and then you just select the control here, select all these keyframes, and then you shift them. You select all the keyframes, you press shift, middle click and drag. You shift in 2 frames. So this one happens 2 frames afterwards. This one was 1. 2 frames. Okay, so now you can see what when I play it, it will be a slight sort of offset between them. So I'm gonna click here. Okay, so now that's being offset. Now I'm gonna take this leg, I'm gonna move this one forward 1 frame, select all the frames, shift, middle click and drag. And now there's an offset of 1 frame. So arms are not moving at the same speed. There's always going to be a delay between them. Take this, again, this leg, select all the keyframe. I'm going to shift them 2 frames forward. And this, I'm going to shift them 2 frames back. Now when I play, everything is happening at a different time. So when you click this, that will sell the whole thing. And then obviously you have to polish that, polish the spine. I think the same with the head. We can offset the head to happen not at the same time as the spine, but a little bit behind or forward. So let's move it like that, up. So now the head, you see, is not going in. You see, it has a little bit of an offset. It's happening. You see how this rotates completely different with the other one. Completely different. It's not happening at the same time. So you got this. Then I'm going to take this and offset it 1 frame forward. Oops, not like that. Shift, middle click and drag. 1 frame, and then this one 2 frames. Let's see what happened. Look at that. Automatically, man, looks so fluid, so fleshy. Because everything is happening at different times. Just for a couple of frames you do, guys, offsetting forward, back and forward, you will be okay. Okay, and then you know that you will have to have 33 frames, and then you will choose. And this is the important part, guys, because remember that the the idle have the feet. I don't know. Let's say there. You can say, well, actually, I'm gonna start my walk cycle from there. So when I switch between walk cycle from idle to walk cycle, I don't see a jump and then it start the walk cycle. I think that's what you can choose from any frame you want. So now you can say, I'm gonna frame from, because I think the character is standing like this. So if he's standing like that, then you can start on this frame. If he's standing like that, you can start on this frame. So you can say, okay, I'm gonna start on frame 117. I know that I have 33 frames, so let's start with something rounded. So I would say 120, just to make things easy here. 120. So I know that I need 33 frames, so 120. 33, that will be 153, is that correct? Yeah, 153. So now 120 should be exactly the same as 153. There you go. I did it right this time. Now I can choose from 153 to 133, and I will have my animation, and it will be a looping. Now when I export from 120 to 152, because I cannot repeat that frame again because it's exactly the same as the first one. So that is what you do. You just shift the keys 1 frame at a time, but you need to polish everything first. You need to be happy with a single cycle as it is, because once you do changes, you're only gonna be at the end of 3 copies just to offsetting. That's it. If you start making changes to animation, once you do this, you have to go and track down. If you change here, what's gonna happen here, what's gonna happen in the other one, and then you will break. You will literally will break your animation, the loop. So make sure that as I open this, do all the cleanup. Let me reopen this so I can see it. Do all the cleaning up on this stage before you make the copies. Yeah, before you make the copies. The 33 frames, they need to be beautiful and polished. They need to have all the arcs done, everything. Don't worry about that everything happen at the same time. You just have to say, okay, this is the final. I'm not gonna add any more keyframes. And then you do the copies, and then you do the offsetting. Do not do more keyframe that you find out, oh, this arm is going too fast or something, because if you do that, then you will have to do it. If you change something here, then you have to go into the copy somewhere here and make the copy, the change, and then go into the next copy and then do the change around there. It's very difficult to track. So it's easy if you have everything clean from the beginning, and then you make the copies, then you offsetting, and you're done. That's it. Okay? Has everybody got that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Good, good.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry I woke you up, guys. So, once you do that, then you make the copies. Okay, so the final should be, let me open the final. I don't know if the final had all the things clean. I'm pretty sure it had, because that's the final. So this one has all the copies, yeah, with everything offset. So this is the final look. It's nice and smooth. It has those delays that we talked about. There's a little bit of a jaggering down, but again, it's a couple of hours of work. So hide this. Okay. So you do that and you are ready to go. And all you have to do is remember that when you finalize your animation, you say, well, I know that I have to export 33 frames minus 1. Always minus 1. So we know that from 115 to 148, it's exactly the same. So we're going to export from 115 to 147. Okay. So once you have the animation, what you had to do, you had to export it. Okay. And in order to export it, you just had to select the deformation system, the root. You don't have to select the top, the root, which is all the controls, all this. Let me show you here the skeleton, and you export the skeleton. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go into File, Export Selection. Okay, FBX export. I'm going to find the stuff we did last week. So let me open the project 2020. Remember, I put them into a content here called source, and you can see here, look, I got the rig, I got the final, and I'm gonna put here walk final. Okay, and then the settings here are as follow. We talked about this. We say that we're gonna do now 33 frames, but we chose from 115 because that's what I chose. I could have shown 120, 135, as long as I don't stay within those little borders in the edges of the whole 3 copies, because those borders, they are gone because we offset the keys. So if we take frames from the beginning in there, we will be breaking the loop because there's not frames before or after that. So there will be some sort of like stationary control that don't move for a few frames, and that's why we make 3 copies. So we can, if you're gonna get more stream in terms of the shifting, you can make 6 copies, but that will be too much. So that is the key. Do not pick up frames from this. This tells me that the copy goes from here to here, the 3 copies. Do not take frame from here or from there, because those are compromised, because I've been shifting forward and backward, and they will not exist if we shift them. Okay. So as everybody understand that clearly, why I say that you shouldn't pick up the beginning and at the end of the frames. Everybody understand that?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason we don't pick them up is because, let me rephrase that then. The reason is that, look at this. If you can see here, these frames, because we're shifting, you see some of this curve starting here and not there, and some of them are starting there. So before this frame, there's nothing in there. So if we pick, you see, some of them are missing in here forward because we shift them. We shift them left to right. So what happens if we pick this slot here, we select from here to here, then we will be picking something that has no frames. and that would literally break the loop. So that's why you have the room from here, pretty much from here to here, to pick up whatever 33 frames you want. Okay? Whatever you want, as long as there are 33 frames minus 1 that you're going to export. Okay, in this case I chose 115 to 148 minus 1. Okay, so again I had selected just the joints or the root join. Go into File, Sport Selection, go into the options, go here. I'm going to find where that is. This one is a project, and I put it in source, and this is going to be the walk final. Again, I'm gonna put here the walk final, and then here the settings go as follows. Here, this is just standard animation. You need to tick animation. You tell them, hey, I need to bake animation, and I'm gonna bake it from frame 115 to frame 147 or 148 minus 1, which is 147. Okay, again, don't put 148 because 148 is exactly as 115. It's a loop. Then you will have an extra frame there. They're gonna give you a little bit of a click. Step 1 frame at a time. We don't need this because we're not exporting skin clusters or anything like that. No cameras, no audio, nothing. I told you the one that I use is this one, FBX 2014-15. Try the other one that you're using. If it works, great. If not, then you know you have to go to this one because that one works. And we export that. Does some baking, some stuff, and it comes out with always comes out with some sort of weird errors, but that's just because the curves and stuff don't ignore that unless it's something drastic thing. It will tell you that I couldn't export or whatever. So I'm gonna go into my other screen and I'm gonna fire. I forgot to fire up my project, so I'm gonna go and find that project and then open it up to you. Any question you go, guys? Any questions so far?
Nothing particular.
Okay, we got a project here. Going to content. Can you see my screen, right? The Unreal, yeah? Yes, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so my character, I got the animations and I got the idle, so I'm gonna go here and import. And I'm going to import the walk cycle we just did. Open it. And the auction tell me here, hey, this is a import auction. It says a mesh or a skeletal mesh. What do you want to choose? Again, because there are two skeletons in this project, mine and the one that comes with the mannequin, then you can choose. In this case, we choose this one because that's the one that we know is going to be attached to it. It could work with this one, but it might not work 100%, but we don't want to do that because those bones are named differently perhaps, or they have bones that we don't have, or we have bones that the rig don't have. So there will be missing data. There are ways to remap those things, but there are tools inside Unreal that you can actually do that. So here, the stuff here should be exactly the same. Shouldn't change anything here really. We just say import, and if you do a good job, I think this one mesh have no name. I don't know what that is. So we double click on this and you can see now that we have the walk cycle imported. So we only imported these joints, and these joints took the rig and applied the animation to the rig that is already imported. Okay? So that's pretty much what you have to do. Then later on we're going to do the logic to put everything together to work just like this guy here. Okay? We're actually going to steal this stuff and then just put our stuff in there. That's what we're going to do. So going back to this, then just quickly to recap, then we're gonna go through the run cycle again, and then next week we do the jump because the jump is a little bit slightly different. Then we start putting stuff together inside Unreal. That will be next week. But for now, let me show you the run cycle. Yeah, run 1, first step. We can walk through this quickly so you can have a look. The run cycle does this. We did the same thing that I did. You just take this and then do the 2 steps. And I did that by importing that mesh in here and then creating a mesh, and then I use the, let me show you, the animation, that reference that I told you about, which is not that's the jump, the walk cycle. That's the the walk. That's the run. You see, the run is one step is on 7 frames, one step, because there's more. This one that you're in the air, and then again that will be 14 frames you have to do in total to get 2 steps. And this frame is going to be exactly the same as the last one, and this frame is the opposite of that. It's halfway there. This is what you have. That's what you have, 14 frames here. So we go 1 or 13. So we see that this one here, pam, 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 and this one is exactly the same as this one. You see, there's no change. And then here is the same, but the opposite. Okay. I think is it that one? Or it's which is the frame? That one, yeah. 107, yeah. That's the same as 101, but opposite. Look. Okay, so we got this. Bam, 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 with the reference here in the viewport for helping, and you got that. Just type, if you want in Google, type run cycle reference or walk cycle reference, and these images will pop up, the one just shown you. Once you do that, then again you have to make sure that we are working on 30 frames per second, 30 frames per second playback, and you are ready to go. So I'm going to open now the part 2. Let's see what I did in part 2. In part 2, what I did was, I think I scaled them. You see, now I scaled these guys to match the speed of what I think this character is going to run by making 2 steps. I scaled them up. And now I decided that 22 frames is one good loop. See, exactly the same. So now when you play, you can see that based on the size of this character, it looks like it's a good loop. And again, in this section, you have to go and start cleaning all the animation. Again, you take these guys, visualize, create editable motion track, and then you can see that this stuff is not 100%, line. I mean, this guy should go like this. Now you're doing like a double 8, look, like a figure 8. That should be just like a single line, an arc like this. So you can see that you have to go and clean this up. By going down, you see that stuff is just going down. This twisting there, I don't know why that happened. I think you can fix it. And then do that. Okay, and then you have to do it for everything. And then let's see what happened, what I did in number 3. The run cycle 3. See, 3. Open that. I want to say this. I think in this case, I think I cleaned them up. I don't know, I don't remember what I did. You see, I think this one already took everything, made the copies, shifting, and again, you can see. And now this is the final. See, that's nice and smooth. I think I already shifted the keys. Here you can see that by shifting, I mean that this stuff being shifted to the right, and you can see there is no keyframe at the beginning here. And that's what I keep telling you, do not use this section or this section because that will break the loop. Use anything from here to here as long as there are 22 frames that you decided to do from the beginning. That's something you decided when you scale them for the first time, you know, okay, this guy is going to run at 22 frames. Okay, so the moment you see this guy is running at 22 frames, that's why you go from 112 to 134. Okay, let me double check to open the final and see if I did any other changes. Maybe I don't remember. No, not that one. Let me open the actual run. I just double click on the walk. Run final. Give me that. Like I said, I don't remember if I did any changes, just to double check. I don't think I did, but anyway, so we know that that's my cycle. Again, I'm gonna export from 112 to 133 because 34 is exactly the same as 112. You can see there's no changes. And again, I have to do is select the root here, the root join, and I'm going to export from 112 to 133. File, export selection, FBX export. Go here, walk. Now this is going to be the run cycle, and let's check out the options here. That will be, I'm gonna bake from 112 to 134 minus 1, 133. One by one, I step one by one, and the rest is nothing, just no constraint, no cameras, no light, no audio, none of that stuff. And then this is the one that I use, this FDX file format, and we export as long as you have the root selected here, which is the root join. Give you some crap, forget about it. Then go here, and again, import, find the guy now, the run, open, and again it's gonna tell me, hey, you're importing this, what skeleton mesh you want to assign it to. I got several. Okay, you're gonna put it to this one, the rest is the same. Import, and you got the run cycle. This stuff is just irrelevant. So, and then you get a run cycle, you see. So now we have all the animation. We have the idle, we have the run cycle, the walk cycle, and the run cycle. And then we just need 3 more, which are the jump cycle, which is split in 3. The start of the jump, the landing on the jump, and jump in the air. Okay? And that's something you do this cycle, and then you split it in 3, and you export 3 things inside Unreal, inside Maya to Unreal. Okay? And then that will be the after that will be just the logic doing in with the stuff in Unreal. Okay? Question, guys.
Everything is pretty much straightforward.
Okay, good to hear. So it's on the record there, guys. It's recorded, so you cannot complain now. So yeah, so I think that's it, guys, for today. I think that I cannot talk anymore. I'm going to do again the usual. Whoever wants to stay behind, and I can review your work. I will upload this tonight, probably in the next 2-3 hours, probably about 6-7. Normally I have it ready by 6-7. The time I save it, upload it, put the stuff in Canvas, it should be about 6-7. And that's it. This is it. What else can I tell you? Okay, next week we're gonna do the jump cycle, and we're gonna start putting the stuff inside Unreal together. And after that, then will be like the cloth. I think the cloth is very easy. The cloth, trust me, it's like 3-4 clicks and you're done. It's not complicated. Okay, and then just do the thing with the tail, the ponytail as well, the collision of the ponytail, and then you I will tell you then the class after that will be putting together everything inside Unreal, and then that's it. And then once we do that, then you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to save this, save all levels.
Lewis, can
Yes.
I go first, please, in the help room, because I cannot stay in much longer?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Just go into the help room, guys, and I'll see you there. I'm going to move into the help room, and then whoever wants to stay behind, stay behind. I'll look at your work. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I will now stop the recording. Okay.